So, today I'm going to explain how, as a security specialist, I make sure that when I set up a home server, it's completely secure. I might suck at drawing, but my security insights are actually quite good. So, it all started when I was playing some beer pong with friends, and I was just being absolutely horrible at it. Normally, I'm quite competent, and I have proof to show this, but this time it really wasn't working out for me. And so I got to thinking, okay, how am I gonna convince them that I actually used to be really good so they will come to continue playing with me? And so I figured, okay, I'm gonna show them a local version of the video of me winning some tournaments. So I get to thinking, okay, so locally I just have some random website, I'd have my own URL, and then via DNS I could make sure that my website is visited just locally. The reason I say locally is because I'm really afraid of Bitcoin mining, malware attacks, injection attacks. I just rather not have it opened up to the outside for a proof of concept. But of course, from a security perspective, I start to think, okay, how would I actually do this? So, of course, just a video server. Then I would need something for authentication authorization, like only people who need to access it should access it. Since I'm introducing it to the outside world, I would want some kind of firewall in front of it since it's a web application firewall. Then, since I need to combine these two services, I would need a reverse proxy. And then finally, domain. Domain shouldn't be that hard of all of them. So which services am I going to use? I would like to do Google single sign-on for authentication authorization, but honestly, that's too much for me right now. I don't have the time or experience yet to do that. So let's just start doing it with some basic Python, SQL server, looking up. I find a combination of Nginx and mod security that is amazing. And for a domain, I think I'm just going to use GoDaddy. Okay, I've kind of done my components analysis. Now let's start get to programming. I make my Flask web app serve the video file. That was actually quite easy, only took a couple of days. Then I add on top of it another Python server that does all of the authentication authorization. I couple it to a database. This way everything is secure. And on top of it, I add a certificate to make sure that I have the HTTPS enabled so that all of my routing and traffic is encrypted. For password derivations, I find the Argon 2 package the easiest to use. It stores your salt together with your hashed password, so that's just great. Then for the routing, I want to make sure that only people who have access via authentication authorization get to the video server. So luckily Nginx has this built-in functionality for routing, so I just use that together with its web application firewall to make sure that everything is safe. Since I have the components now and I have kind of some basic implementations, I just check my flow to see any edge cases, right? So if I'm a user and I want to request a video, I'm gonna make sure that it's all authenticated and authorized. This I can do using my simple server that I programmed, and then only will I grant access to the video. Of course, in my example, I use admin password, but as soon as I move out of a proof of concept phase, I start using a proper password and user. Always make sure to never reuse credentials or common occurring credentials like password. Okay, so now if I go outside, I can show them the video. That's great, but I've been doing this all on my local computer. Now I'm thinking, how am I going to host this? In an ideal world, I would have proper network segregation. I would deploy actually all of these servers on different nets because they serve different purposes. So you would actually want different virtual networks to make sure that communication is disallowed from basically all of those virtual networks, except for the reverse proxy to route them and maybe the database access. Unfortunately, I don't have that kind of infrastructure as of right now. I'm just a poor worker. So I'm just going to use a Raspberry Pi that my roommate has downstairs. Shout out to Michiel. That way I can just serve it quite easily and I still have all the protections built in so that I feel pretty confident and safe. Great. Next, I just show all these bastards how awesome my system works. So now I can just go to the GoDaddy server. I set up my domain. I add the redirection to my local IP. And then I have all the routing in place to safely set up my server and access it. The one thing that still worries me is I constantly see IPs trying to connect via Russia or via China. So I set up some extra protections that the server can only be accessed from IPs from my origin country. And that's it. That's how a security analyst safely sets up his own web server.